So, I mean, that one's extra fun for me because I have actually had to be in the seat to say no to Edgar at times about different things. So it was uncomfortable, but I'm glad we can share that moment that we are, that it's all good and it's part of the journey. And I think that that's a big piece that you've heard from all of the entrepreneurs tonight, and that you'll certainly hear from our last story tonight as well. So the one thing that I want to say as we head from microelectronics, the piece that's really standing out is sort of how all of these things, how do we actually, we've been hearing the stories of how people make things, how they come together, how they get it done, how they build things. And most importantly, the theme across this that really hits our national security conversation tonight is how do we manufacture it? How do we make it not only the team and the technology, but how do we actually make hard things here in the United States? And with that, as we started our conversation focused on Earth, we're actually going to take a quick trip to space. I'd love to welcome Warren Su, co-founder and CTO of Endox, to the stage.
All right. Good evening. My name is Warren Su, co-founder and CTO of Endox. Let's start by imagining a scenario. It's 2026. The Chinese People's Liberation Army invades Taiwan. The world's most advanced chip foundries go dark. The Chinese Navy sets up a blockade around the island. 20% of global trading routes are cut off overnight. Your next iPhone upgrade, scrubbed. Your ChatGPT, offline. But this crisis goes far beyond semiconductors. For decades, the United States has offshored its manufacturing, making us reliant on Chinese supply chain and cheap Chinese goods to maintain our economy and current quality of life. From metals to chemicals to something as simple as textiles. Any break in that chain will make us look weak in front of our geopolitical adversary. The fact of the matter is, the US needs to reindustrialize for national security. Setting the catastrophic 2026 scenario aside, my journey to tackle this problem started with 6 days. That's how long it took for Uncle Sam to approve my green card. You see, I emigrated here from Taiwan with the conviction that America, more than any other place, is where you come to build things that matter, especially when the stakes are high. My passion when I first came was to build spacecraft. My first company, Squid 3, manufactures specialized thermal blankets that are not supplied to other space companies. And that experience became my crash course in the American industrial base and the problems it faces. I saw firsthand how lagging the supply chain was in the United States. Lead times of 6 to 12 months were the norm. And I wanted to know why. So earlier this year, I joined a group of startups as part of the Defense Innovation Unit's Defense Tech Accelerator. We toured Army depots and family-owned machine shops across the country. And what I saw was both inspiring and alarming. Inspiring because these facilities are filled with skilled artisans who have dedicated their entire lives to making things that keep our nation safe. And alarming because the workforce is aging out faster than it can be replaced. And so much of that expert knowledge lives only in their heads. It's not documented, not in SOPs, not in any manuals. When this current batch of artisans who know how to run the legacy machines and crafts retire, that knowledge walks out the door with them. It's gone forever. Now, everyone in DC has been talking about reshoring for quite some time, but why is it so hard to do? The answer is simple: people. These manufacturing jobs are often done in loud, toxic, and hazardous environments, and they're not that desirable to modern Americans. Most Gen Zs definitely don't want to work in a factory. Making offshoring the only options Americans have until now. As a civilization, we have built specialized robots that do one task extremely well, the kind you see in car assembly lines. And now we're chasing humanoids, general purpose robots that can fold laundry, cook dinner, and even walk your dog. But the future, the next decade, belongs to a new class, specialized humanoids. And here's my thesis. Factories today already hold millions of dollars worth of production equipment, CNCs, laser cutters, sewing machines, all perfectly operational. It makes no economic sense to just rip them out. So instead, the path to 100% automation is teaching a humanoid how to operate them the same way a human would. And that's the physical AI solution we're developing at Endox. We fine-tune humanoids to operate existing machines in military depots and factories. Robots that learn not from codes, but from observing skilled artisans, pressing the same button, pulling the same levers, and loading the same materials. And that's how we started bringing manufacturing back to America. For the near term, we're focused on capturing decades of tribal knowledge in a multimodal fashion, fusing egocentric videos with audio and tactile data. We turn this knowledge into training data for large language models that govern robot actions. And this approach will preserve billions of dollars in existing CapEx and makes manufacturing AI accessible to everyone. It shifts competition away from a cheap labor race to an AI race, a race that the US must lead like it did in the space race. I came to the United States under an immigration pathway granted to extraordinary individuals. And to me, that carries an obligation to contribute to the national security and technological leadership of this nation. When people think about national security, they tend to picture soldiers and tanks, but I see something else. American engineers, scientists, and founders. People who choose to serve not with weapons, but with ideas. That's why I co-founded Endox alongside Army veteran Blake Doherty. We already have an ongoing pilot program with to modernize a 90-year-old Army depot under a US Army SBIR Phase 1 contract. We're building robots for national security. And if you have the vaguest interest in the stability and future of the US, you need to see this as your mission too. We're calling for motivated talents to join our team in Boston because protecting our freedom and way of life isn't someone else's job. It's ours, all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Warren.